But before all of that, let's get into the big news story of this coming week, guys, because I don't know if you know, but the whole country is getting a hangover on Thursday because Donald Trump's American government has confirmed that South Africa will face steep tariffs on goods exported to the United States from the 7th of August in just a few days' time. South African companies will be getting 30% tariffs on goods that we sell in America, meaning Americans who are buying our goods will have to pay an extra 30% of the price of the goods they are buying to the American government. And that makes our goods more expensive to Americans, which makes them less attractive to American buyers. So we won't be paying the tariffs, but we may lose out on business. Now that sounds bad, and it is bad for many South African companies and industries. But the question is, how bad is it? That's much more complicated, and many people either don't know how the tariffs work or are telling only half the story to spin it in their favor. So let's properly explain what is about to happen unless we can strike a deal with the US before the 7th. And firstly, people, we need to understand how big a deal American trade is to South Africa. And here we have to hold two facts at the same time, even though they might feel odd together, but they're both true. For example, Casper Njovest is a brilliant businessman and also very bad at music. Two facts, they may seem odd together, but they're both true. He filled up the dome, but his lyrics are often fill up the dom. We understand. Here's another example for the slow learners. Kaizer Chiefs are a massive football club, and Kaizer Chiefs are also terrible at football. Obviously. Don't kill the messenger. They're not even in the MTN 8. They were still on holiday this weekend. They're a bottom half team closer to relegation than the title, guys. These are the facts. So here are the two facts that we need to hold about South Africa-America trade. America only accounts for about 7.5% of South Africa's exports to the world. That's less than China. So America is not the be-all and end-all of South Africa's trade. In fact, more than 90% of our trade doesn't go to America, right? That's the first fact. But here's the other one that we need to hold at the same time. That 7.5% of our exports to the USA is worth 14.6 billion US dollars a year. That's about 292 billion rands of goods we sell to the USA. And guys, even if we weren't in Cyril's economy, that's a lot. That's 584 million labubus, guys, a year. A year. Hundreds of thousands of South Africans work in industries that create goods to export to America. Their jobs could be at risk depending on how the tariffs go. So America is both a big deal to South Africa, but also not the biggest deal, like Casper Njovest. We understand. We understand. Guys, he's not here. You can laugh. Okay, so we need to dig a little deeper to properly understand what the effect of these tariffs might be. Firstly, America is not putting tariffs on all of the goods from South Africa. About 36% of South African goods are not being tariffed. The Americans are hooked on our natural resources, people. They need our raw materials, especially platinum, rhodium, and gold. So those goods are not being tariffed. So that brings down the value of our exports being tariffed from about $14.6 billion to about $9.3 billion, or 186 billion rand, or for the Gen Zers amongst us, 372 million labubus a year. And some of our industries export to America more than others, right? So they'll be impacted more by tariffs than other industries. For example, citrus farmers export tons of fruit to America. South Africa is actually the second biggest exporter of citrus fruit in the world after Spain, and we're expected to have our biggest citrus exports ever this year. But our citrus farmers could well be screwed by these tariffs. Also, our car building industry also exports plenty to America and so could be slammed by tariffs, especially in the Eastern Cape where, I don't need to remind you, literally nothing is going well. There are whole communities in the Eastern Cape that are heavily reliant for jobs on the car industry, like in East London. The danger to industries like these is why our Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago says Trump's tariffs could cause about 100,000 lost jobs in South Africa. That's really, really bad in a country with the worst unemployment crisis on earth. It's like having cancer and then getting an STD. Like, the pressure is getting worse. But now we need to understand the last important detail about tariffs. Everyone is getting an STD, guys. It's not just us. More than 60 countries besides South Africa are also getting tariffs from America on the 7th. Some countries with smaller tariffs than South Africa, some with bigger tariffs than South Africa. But the point is, everyone is getting an STD. It's like Freshers Week at Tariffs University. You all just told on yourselves in a big way. And it makes sense that the STD super spreader infecting everyone is America, led by a president who looks like what would happen if you got every single STD on Earth all at the same time. And for South Africa, it's actually good that tons of other countries are also getting tariffs, because it means that our goods sold in America are also their goods in America are also going to be more expensive. It's not just our goods that are getting 30% more expensive than everyone else's. Does that make sense? Theirs are also getting pricier, meaning that our goods may still be the best goods on offer for Americans to buy. And Americans are still going to need to buy our goods, guys. They can't suddenly just make amarula and produce tons and tons of fruit in our place. And most importantly, the tariffs are going to slam Americans, guys. Already they're facing inflation. They've got really bad new jobs numbers, meaning that Trump is going to be under a ton of pressure from his own people to scrap the tariffs. And he has crumbled and gone back on his plans before. So it's hard to tell how this will pan out, because the tariffs may stay for a little while and then go away or change. South Africa may strike a deal with Trump's administration to lessen the tariffs.